all of this is immaterial.
Don't matter.
The point is that we are here
Yes.
as the Unwritten Earth Symposium.
Mm-hmm. Season 2.
Season 2. Welcome to the Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast, the podcast where I sit down every couple weeks with my good friend, Eppy Ravishal, to talk about these truly true tabletop role-playing games that we all enjoy so much. So much.
TT RPG. And it's the podcast where I get to sit down and joke around with my friend Nathan Paoletta to talk about we just talked about that. What are games? Just games. We're going to talk about cards today. We're going to talk about cards and should we launch right into the homework?
Yeah, I don't think we have much of a preamble. Maybe just if you have come on board with our season 2 as of our last episode, just a quick mention that the campaign without master is looking for mighty rogues to follow. We have the Swords Without Master preview page is up, and so you can go over there. There's a link in the show description and from our website, or just look up Swords Without Master on the old Kickstarter.com, and you can click follow. And then when we launch that campaign in 2026, you'll get an email saying, hey, the swords are here.
Yeah, the swords are here. Yeah, a little warning email. Don't answer the door.
Watch
the
out.
Swords are here.
The swords are here. We're starting to see the fruits of ShellCon's efforts on the art front.
Oh yeah.
Early days, but
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm just excited, about the people's responses to artists' responses to Shell reaching out, and I mean, I hate to put it this way, but I feel like we're wearing big boy pants now as a company. At least the pull-ups, the huggy pull-ups or whatever. Yep. I don't remember what.
Yeah, we at least can operate our own underoos.
Yeah.
as needs must. So far, our process with Shell has been really not only has it been good in terms of I think it is going to lead to good quality of work, but also it has been fun in that Shell's approach to the art direction is more expansive, I think, than I tend to have the capacity to do, which is why you have a specialist do a specialist thing. So that has been a learning experience for me to see how Shell is doing it. And then I think it's also for the best for us as a group. So, that's been good. I think just seeing people being excited at the idea of swords coming is very good as well.
Invigorating. Yeah. I've been enjoying the trip down memory lane that my process has been, digging through old writing, and I'm going to call it art. I did it. It's things that I made in Photoshop in the year 2010, 2011, 2013, over a decade ago. And just being like, yes, I like those. I mean, I think these are incredible pieces of art, but I'm glad I didn't lose them with the 4 laptops I've lost since then. Right.
They capture the spirit, right? And that's important to keep with us as we go forward with visual stuff.
Yeah.
You gotta remember where you came from. And it was Eppy's copy of Photoshop from 2012. That's where we came from.
I just got a new computer, and this is the first computer that I have that does not have a optical drive, right? This is the first time I can't put a CD-ROM or a DVD into it. So this is the first computer I did not attempt to install Adobe Creative Suite 3. I still have those discs. Yeah, we used to own a thing when you bought it. Listen, this is a plus expenses discussion. I really should stop there. But fun times.
And if you are new, Plus Expenses is the other podcast that we do for our patrons. So in between every bi-weekly, by which we mean every other week, fortnightly.
Yeah, fortnightly.
In between each fortnightly episode of Unwritten Earth Symposium podcast, we also have a alternating fortnightly plus expenses, which is where we talk about stuff that's not game design, except sometimes it is, but usually more, I'd say there's 3 buckets of plus expenses. There's stuff we've been reading and watching that's not necessarily project or game related, though sometimes it is. General life update stuff that's going on that we want to kind of talk about and share, and complaining about the state of the world. Those are the 3 main things. So if you're interested in any of that, all of our patrons get plus expenses, and that is starts at $3 a month over at the old Patreon. But we don't have time for that. We have to talk about cards.
Let's insert the homework bit here.
Our first homework assignment for this season is we are each going to work up 3 to 5. A representative handful of cards for each of our respective card-based game concepts. And then we'll share them with each other when next we speak. And use that as a basis for both, here's what I learned while putting these together, and then also for further discussion about what these games could be.
Sounds good. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. Love having homework. And we're back. I think that one's pretty clear because if I recall correctly, I restated our conversation so we would have a clip to put there.
Something to insert, yeah.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Let's roll a die here.
Oh, okay.
I've got Season of Swords. I got some tone dice here. You want to be glum or jovial?
Glum.
All right.
Why not?
Well, my friend, you win.
Ooh, glum high.
With a moral.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, maybe by the end of the episode, we'll see if we've identified the moral.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'm happy to go first. Ecstatic even, but not that ecstatic because it's glum. I am... Resigned. Yes, I'm resigned. I'm grimly resigned to going first. So, yes, as I talked about last episode, the kind of concept, I don't think I'm using correctly in this context, but whatever. The big concept that I'm kind of grasping at with this game is that there's a world that has lore, and as you play, lore becomes exposed to the players. Part of it is taking the world building and setting stuff out of a book and putting it on cards and putting it in players' hands so that the transmission of the world is not usually the GM, right? Or facilitator, whoever's playing, whoever's bringing the game to the table and has read the book explaining things, right? Bringing it out of that mode and into a more, I guess, collaborative mode in the sense of we're all going to find out certain things together. That's kind of where I'm at. The core problem here is, what is the lore? What are the things that go on the cards? So this, my friends, is a lesson in everything you've ever worked on becomes material for another thing, right? I have exactly one original, in the sense of I was coming up with it myself as opposed to trying to emulate a certain kind of genre or being inspired by fiction, a fictional work or something. I don't know how original it is in the sense of novel, but I have one original game setting that I was noodling around with in the early 2010s, kind of Design Matters era. And a lot of the stuff in that ended up going into Imp of the Perverse. So that's, so it was good in that way, but all the world stuff that hasn't gone anywhere. But it's just sitting here, and I was checking. I'm like, oh yeah, no, that has survived through enough hard drive, hard drive changes and everything. Yeah. I have Scrivener files from the brief time that I was trying to use Scrivener. But thankfully, I also have just like rich text files and some open office Word file, like so by using open software, I've been able to maintain these documents, which is pretty great.
This is why I am again, this is plus expensive, but like uncovering a bunch of Scrivener files, I'm like, oh man, I love when I switched over to Markdown and just Markdown in file folders.
Right.
That's all the organization I need.
Yeah. Like, I mean, right now, I'm putting things in Ellipsis. I'm using Ellipsis for my notes and everything because I think it's a very easy way. If we do end up collaborating on stuff, it's easy to share, and the drafts feature is nice, and it's everywhere. I'm on the, it's just in the browser, so everywhere I have a browser, I can get to it. So that's, everyone else is using Google Docs, and like that's fine. To achieve this, where it's just like I make a document and it just exists forever. However, if you keep that in like a text file or a markdown file, which is a text file. When Google turns the screws on you, you aren't still beholden to Google Docs, right? Like there's still a benefit.
Yes.
Anyway. So what is this? So where to start? The high level idea here. Where to start?
It's a world of your own making.
It's a world of my own making. So this is a genre blender setting.
Okay. All right.
That's pulling aspects from like some of the anime that I like, some Weird West stuff that, I've always been into. And there's an aspect of political, there's stuff that happens in like the political situation that like your game could be about, but even if your game's not about that, that stuff still matters to like day-to-day stuff that's in the characters' lives. Yeah. As originally conceived, the concept was that your characters start the game having suffered some kind of loss, and then part of play is like gaining a new purpose and seeking to change the world in your image. I'm not sure if that will maintain, but that was kind of like an original thought. I don't know how to describe a setting, I think is what I'm finding out right now.
I mean, you could do it via cards. Yeah. I think that's
maybe we'll start there. Okay. When you make characters, it kind of has this like life pathy thing, because I'm always starting with characters and mechanics. So it has this like life pathy thing where there's all these triumvirates of things. And so these are things that are in the world that you're choosing to make your characters. So you pick what your being is. I'll just run through these real quick, because I think sketching these out, I think we'll describe kind of the setting. There's three things that matter, that power the world and the economy, and also are like character currencies. There's gold, straightforward. Blood, also probably straightforward. And dust. Dust is the remains of ancient dragons below the surface of the world that is mined and turned into this powder, which is both explosive, has mystical properties, and is a perception altering drug. So that's kind of the like...
It's a good combo. Yeah.
right. So that's, kind of the raison d'etre for this... This I don't know, civilization, kingdom, world, whatever. The conception is this is one kind of like kingdom or empire or something like that in a world where there's probably other ones.
Right.
Let's see. Gold is, currency the way you think about it, literal coins, but also backs paper currency and everything. And then blood is kind of representing like personal magical power that is concentrated in your person. Blood can be taken from people and given to other people, for example, to achieve certain things. When you make your character, you are a person, a living, breathing person as we recognize them in the world, and there's a bunch of like cultural groups. Outsiders, who are beings who come from beyond, could be celestial arbiters of justice, infernal lords, spirits of those who have passed, but not undead. Those are different. An elemental or an embodiment of an emotion would be an outsider. That kind of stuff. And then automatons are creatures built of metal and earth, powered by dust usually, and they are intelligent and sentient beings of their own, but they are created. And then they're also undead, but it's best not to speak of them. So you pick which one of those you are. You pick what path you walk in this world. The path of ash, the path of smoke, or the path of flame. So this is kind of like personality types. These all also unlock special powers, which are called weirds, which I've kept that, going into imp. But so yeah, this is kind of like, what direction is my character going? How do I relate to the rest of the world? Ash, path of ash tends to be quiet, withdrawn, introverted. Smoke tends to be flighty, indecisive, moody. Flame tends to be passionate, aggressive, stubborn. But these are also like recognized things in the setting, as we'll see when we get to the cards, I think. And then your like character class, for lack of a better term, is there are 3 mantles, each of which has 3 roles. And you pick one of those roles, which is going to be inside the mantle. And these are like social roles.
Okay.
Mantle of the Wanderer. You can be an outlaw, a mendicant, or a surgeon. The mantle of the Warrior. You can be a soldier, a conservator, or a steadfast. And the mantle of the Bureaucrat. You can be a scholar, an arbiter, or a servant. When you make your character, you pick these things. They're going to give you like dice and stats and stuff like that.
I doubt this is a reference, but I laughed when you said the Wanderer, and then one of the roles was a mendicant, because Gru the Wanderer.
Yes, Gru the Wanderer.
Whenever anyone calls him a mendicant, he flies into a furious rage. It's just a
not a conscious reference, but I'll keep that. I think that's
it's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then you have like cool powers, which are weirds, or mancies, which are like more like magic. Weirds are like standalone abilities, like a feat, I guess. And then mancies are more like a magic that has like different like spells you can learn. You also have a signature weapon, because everyone has a cool ass weapon. And your weapon can have a weird to it as well. So characters are kind of these like larger than life protagonists in this world where there's lots of like danger and darkness and weirdness. There's also like bureaucracy and the demands of the government on things. So like I'm envisioning there's lots of like frontier stuff. That's kind of like the Weird West stuff. There's a lot of like frontier that you can be in. There's a conflict or tension between the like seats of power that are kind of, interior to the kingdom, and then like the outer boroughs that are more autonomous. The flow of dust around is like a big deal. Who has it? Who wants it? What's it being used for? That kind of stuff. So this is all just swirling around like, here's a bunch of like stuff, and I don't really have like structure for, or I don't really have a good idea of, how do you build an adventure? Like that part. I'm still a little
right.
That's still to come. Anyway, so cards. Okay, so the game has this concept of organizations, like factions or official organizations, or military groups or whatever. And then I think locations are good lore stuff. Like here is a dust mine. Here's all the stuff that you can learn about it, that kind of stuff. Or here is the center of the bureaucracy. Here's all the things you can learn about it. And then I was also like, there's these character things that have an element of progression without necessarily being secrets or knowledge, but are like staged, where like you have to do a thing and then after that you'll do another thing, and like those are also good for cards, right? Like in terms of stacking a deck. So I'm looking at 2 kinds of decks, like in-world stuff, like organizations and locations, and then like character growth, which is the paths would have their own deck, the mantles and or the roles would have their own deck, and then weirds are probably cards, but they're not necessarily a deck of them. But there might be like that you go through, but they'd like you'd be able to keep a little hand of like, here's all the weirds that I have.
Yeah, so you, like a reference cards, basically. Like
So let me share my screen because I did this
screen share time. I hope our audio audience can and
we'll put
enjoy.
some images. We'll put some images in for the post. They'll at least be on the Patreon if they don't come through on the main website. our episodes that go up on our Patreon are public. You don't need to be logged in or be a member to see them. So if you want to see the images, the Patreon post is probably the best place to see them.
But in case you don't head over there right away, let me just describe what I'm seeing here, right? I'm looking at a layout of some cards. Each card has what appears to be a title, and then like maybe a type underneath it. I'm just making some guesses here.
Yep.
They have a number in the upper left-hand corner, and then they have in the lower right. There's most of them appear to have like a number letter reference. Oh, but the bottom ones don't. Okay, all right.
So these are
and then there's text in the middle. Yeah. Oh, two different kinds of cards.
Yeah. So these are, three different kinds, I guess. So these top ones are like the first cards of like one of these organization decks. So there's this group, or it's more of a faction, I guess. Anyway, the Formless. The Formless are these kind of ethereal creatures that live in folklore as like things that go bump in the night, right? Like you threaten your children, like the Formless will come and get you if you don't eat your dinner, or like whatever. Because we threaten our children.
That's how they grow.
But the idea is they're also like it is a group that has like an agenda in this world. Like they're I'm my notes on them are they're on the mystical end, trying to disrupt certain things that the bureaucracy does towards their own ends. This is all very loose. But yeah, they are these like ethereal kind of ghost-like beings, formless. They don't have bodies. So I'm envisioning there's a deck of cards, and they have, so the numbers in the top left are the order that they're stacked in the deck. So do this pre-play, or they come like this or whatever. And you turn over that top card and it says the Formless, and then it says common knowledge. So that's like the card types would be like common knowledge, maybe like uncommon, or insider, or something like that, and then like secret or something like that.
Right. Like
there's a couple
experts knowledge or something like that. Yeah.
And there's just a little text. So this top card is common knowledge. You've grown up with tales of uneasy ghosts who come in the night to steal unruly children away. Once grown, most people regard stories of the Formless as fairy tales, with only the most credulous still blaming bad fortune on the presence of those without forms. And then there's a thing at the bottom that says learn more. And there's two things. There's seen outcome, or this tag that says 1B, which would just be one blood, because you have three currencies. You're spending blood, gold, or dust for things.
All right. So got it. Yeah.
So in this case, you can learn more either as a seen outcome, like you're role playing, you have a conversation, and someone's like, oh, well, let me tell you about, I've actually seen the Formless or something. Or you can be like, I want to know more. And then that is a expenditure of a resource, and some description of like how you go about finding it out.
And does that lets you draw the next card? That's good.
Yeah, and this just stays face up, right? So when you go to the next card, you just put this like face up on the table, or it goes next to the deck in like a discard pile. But everything that's face up is things that everyone can see, right? It's not like the fact goes away. It's more just what's common knowledge and what's not. And then so the second card that I mocked up here is just this is also common knowledge. It just doesn't, it's just farther down in the stack. There are a variety of charms used to keep the Formless away. Many people pick up these habits and keep doing them, like sprinkling salt across their doorway every full moon, or hanging an iron horseshoe over their bed. And it has the same learn more, seen outcome, or spend a blood. And then maybe a third card would be Formless are vulnerable to iron, right? Like there's something that kind of follows from that, but it also could be, but maybe it's these folk beliefs are meaningless. The Formless, can pass any barrier, whether it has salt or iron across it or not. As the designer, I can start getting into like what's really, what's really happening with these creatures. That's
precisely what I was like, you could have a type of card that's just called rumor, which like one of these could just be that. And that's like, the game doesn't guarantee that this is true or not. This is just what people think. And then later on, you could, like you were just saying, have a card either confirm or deny the rumor as like expert knowledge or something like that, which would be like kind of a fun way of like, okay, should we depend on this? Like when we set this out, is this a, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's good. We'll do this live.
Yeah, live editing.
So one kind constraint, which is kind of the point, right, is that this particular approach doesn't really have like branching options. Right. The idea is that it is a static thing. But maybe there's something where like you can turn rumors into like facts or something like that. And that's independent of there being a card in the stack. There may be another level of interaction with those. So yeah. So that's kind of at least an initial structure. And I don't know what the rhythm would be for these. Are you turning over one a session? Are you turning over 3 a session? Right. Are you turning over one every couple sessions?
Is it just like a reward you get for spending time at the tavern?
Right.
Somebody tells you something, yeah.
Or it's like the first couple ones because they're like scene outcome. Like if you're playing a game where you're like, this town is being ravaged by some unknown assailant and we think it's the Formless. So like you are trying to find out, then you go through the first 2 or 3 really quick. And then you get to some that are more like learn more is like 3 blood, which is a significant expenditure. So you're like, okay, I need to actually like build up a resource, or like 3 gold. And it's like, oh, I can spend money to find out more. Like that kind of thing is one aspect.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's like for organizations and for locations would work like this as well. Where like the first couple things would be maybe not common knowledge. Maybe for a location it would be like first appearance or something like that. Or like surface, what you see. Right. And then like the second one might be like what you hear. Some ththings where it's like as you spend more time, you just like turn over the cards until you get to a point where you need to like do things. That's one type. And then the other type are the second row here, the Path of Flame. So like I said, this is a thing that's a character thing, but also in the world. So like, or at least you can find out if someone you're talking to is on the Path of Ash or the Path of Smoke or the Path of Flame. And there's some like tells, I think, like just like their personality. And then also the things they can do are a tell because they each have a set of weirds that are attached to that path. Mm-hmm. So because it's a path, I'm calling these cards steps. So we have number 1 is the first step. This is kind of a basic description. And then some like character option things. So in the lower left or lower right, it says flesh +1, drive +3, gains +0. So these are just coming from my old draft. Like, here's some mechanics. When you're rolling dice or possibly doing cards, because this might be card based. I have 2 versions. I have a dice based and a like regular playing card based. Anyway, whenever you go to the mechanics to do a thing, it's either a matter of the flesh, a matter of the heart, or a matter of the head. So those are like your stats. You have flesh, heart, and head. And so your Path of Flame, you're going to get a +1 flesh just for being on Path of Flame. Drive is kind of, a mechanic measuring your enthusiasm for what you're doing. And then gains are like experience points, kind of. You spend them to do things later. I don't know. Again, these are just like, here are some mechanics. I'll put them on this card.
Yeah. It's a little placeholder for the moment. Like we're working on something else here, but there's going to be something here.
Right. So there's something here that tells you something from character creation, and then also an instruction for choosing a weird. And there's 3 weirds that you can choose from for being on the Path of Flame: Immolate, Cause Strife, and Bloodbath. The idea also with the weirds and like all how everything is named and everything is that like all of these should start giving you a picture of the world.
Right. Yeah, they're invoking a whole vibe.
Yeah. So this is just like the card you would take when you start the game. And then at some point you take the second step, and I just kind of blocked in some text. You've passed through a proving test demonstrating your commitment to changing the world around you. Sure. And then it has a little choice of another block of things, either a dedication to the flame where you get some more stats and you take level 2 of a weird, because most of the weirds I think will have like 1 and 2. Maybe it's a double-sided card.
Oh, nice. Yeah, just flip it.
Yeah. Or the fire within, which is like a different set of stats, and you choose a different weird. So it's like, do you stick with the thing that you're already doing, or do you branch out a little bit?
Yeah.
So again, these are just kind of like describing character growth. Maybe there's something more interesting to do with those. And then I have this again, an example, weird, the immolate, weird, number one to show this is like the first level of it, I guess. And then I just like grab some icon, so it's like the little die. So it has all the stuff is down the left-hand side, or sorry, the right-hand side.
Right.
Has a little die to show that you're rolling H for heart. This is powered off of your heart stat. The game is like die pool successes. So you roll some dice, you get some successes, then you spend successes to do things. So like, again, just like super blocked in, you're spending successes on damage, protection, and duration is like the little cluster of dots, like how long it takes. And it costs one dust or 3 blood. And then the text gives you a little description. You burst into a scorching vortex of flame. Anyone approaching you takes damage. You take damage minus protection. So you're spending successes if you want to protect yourself, but you don't have to. If you make an attack and your weapon's size is smaller than the damage, so your weapons have sizes. You have a big sword or a little sword. Those are both do different things. But the idea is, if your weapon's size is smaller than your damage, then that means that you bring your fire to them as you fight, right? So you get extra damage. Yeah. And then there's a failure state for rolling dice where like your powers turn on you, basically. So the one for immolate is that the flame starts under your skin.
Oh.
And it's just like a static amount of damage to you and everyone around you. Whoops.
Good stuff.
So this is mostly just a reference card for this power. So maybe there's something interesting to do with these. Maybe like the second level has some like lore on it or something.
I think there's an opportunity here with the cards. There's something about, okay, if you go back to not the weird card, but the path card, I guess is what the way you had the second step has like these 2 choices that you can make or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that made me think of like placing cards, like making a little like spot on the card to place another card or to like, so there's this thing like, instead of having those, one on top of each other, they can be side to side. So you can like cover over the one you didn't take. Mm-hmm. Well, it might like become more like in-game mechanic, but it's more just like a representation idea. But like you can kind of build branching paths that way by being like, this card says you have a slot for this, and you can slide another card right there. But if you take it, you lose this.
The amount of cards are arbitrary, right? These decks can be however big they need to be. So maybe it's like this card, the number 2 card for Path of Flame, the second step, has more like text on it about what this means. Mm-hmm. And then it just has the choose one, Dedication to the Flame or the Fire Within. And then those are both the next 2 cards in the deck.
Right. You choose one of them.
Yeah, so you pick one, and those are ones that are formatted so that you put it next, slide it underneath the first card.
You slide it, yeah.
And it has like all of your stats, all those stats all kind of stacked together.
Honestly, they could just be one card, and they could just be the top half and the bottom half. Like
or the top half and bottom half.
Like, and you slide the part that you don't have underneath or something like that.
But how about this? Mm-hmm. What if the cards are unique and representative of uniqueness? So I don't know if that extends to everyone has to be on a different path. Probably not. But you can have as many like first step Path of Flame cards as there are players. Like everyone could be on the Path of Flame, I guess. But then the second step cards, there's only like one of each. So like if whoever gets there first chooses Dedication to the Flame, that demands that the next person who gets to the second step is going to has to take the Fire Within. Yeah. I don't know if that's like a competitive thing. Like I guess it could be, but in that way, then these character things would also be building the world, because once someone takes Dedication to the Flame and there's no one else is on the Path of Flame, there is no Fire Within person like in the world now. Yeah. That could imply a lot about your game in a unique way without having to have like branching path lore stuff. Yeah.
You can even have like some of those lore things have a requirement on it that's like, if you don't have somebody with Fire Within, discard this card. This isn't lore for you.
Yeah, this is useless to you. Yeah, it'll never. Yeah. I think there'd be some weirds that are buried in the factions or in the locations.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
you unlock them basically.
Like you'd unlock them. Like there's a weird that is. I don't have my big list of them up now. I spent a lot of time writing weirds, so I was going through them like, yeah, I spent a lot of time with these.
It's a good hobby.
Yeah. There's one where you can take anyone's face and put it on your face to become them. Literally, you have to take their face, right?
You have to cut it off. Okay, good.
And so, like, that could be a formless. That could be in the formless deck. It's a thing that the formless do to, like, take shape,
right? Yeah,
temporarily,
and you could learn. Someone can learn it. Yeah.
But, like, it's not in any of the other decks. So, like, for that weird to come into play, you have to be dealing with the formless in some way, and that could be cool. Just in terms of having lots and lots of weird, like lots of mechanical things, but not having a big ass list that people are poring over trying to find, like, what's the thing that I want to do and have it come more out of play.
By the time you come across it, everyone's familiar with the formless, right? Like,
right.
That's the other bit. It's not like it's like I'm not gonna bash kitchen sink style worlds or anything. Like, I love them, absolutely love them, but like when you throw together a group of adventurers that are built out of like huge lists with a bunch of splat books and things like that, there's this the opposite of cohesion, because everything is a little it's a little noisy. Diffusion. It's a little noisy, but like in this, it's like, oh no, like we built to get this. Like we've learned all these things about the formless before we stumbled upon this power that Alice picked up, like, or something like that. Like it's in
context of like a whole game that has had this theme, right? This like theme of duplicity and hiding and kind of the horror of things you can't see, right? That's kind of where it's coming from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's fun. I think that's a nice way to like both use the physical thing of the cards, but also to like, make your particular craft the world to the adventure you're having, which is really the opposite of how we approach these things most often, I would say.
And also gives you that thing of, and maybe this will segue into your cards, but it also kind of gives you that thing of, if you play over time and you learn how the decks work, at some point you can be like, hey, like, I'm hunting for rumors of the formless, like, because I want to get to that power. Like, that's like a legit thing to do, I think, to try to you can harness some of the like system knowledge once you get into it.
You can even do a thing where you're like, here's the formless deck. The first 12 cards of the formless deck are in order, and then the next set get shuffled, and then the last ones are these, right? So it's like, I don't even know when it's going to show up, but I want it. And I know it's in there, so let's go for it. Yeah. I dig it.
Well, as you could hear, I'm grappling with like the scope.
This is early days. This is good.
But yeah, that's where I went with like, all right, I need something that has a world, and like that's the only world that I have. So now I'm going back down this path, if you will. All right. What about yourself?
I too was like, I need a world, and instead of drawing on one that I had or anything like that, I just did the most boring thing I could have done, which was whatever. It's a medieval fantasy thing. It's fine. This is, I say most boring. There's a reason why I default to it. I mean, obviously, the hobby in general and my particular relationship to it specifically have deep roots in this kind of fantasy. So what I have is I didn't, as previously noted, I'm not particularly good with those digital tools. So I've drawn things on note cards.
Probably much better, honestly, for getting your ideas out.
The setup for mine is, I think I mentioned last time that I have like this, and you just kind of alluded to it, that I have this fondness for these old, I'm going to call them adventure board games, to just kind of, I don't know board game categories, so I can't really tell you what kind they are. One of them is Quest for the Emperor's Treasure, which was, I think, originally published in Dragon Magazine and then republished in the Best of Dragon Magazine games. And that is by, it's kind of a name, Tom Wham, who's, I think, done a lot of illustrations. Like I think he illustrated it. It's got lovely little like cartoon characters in it and whatnot. And this is a fantasy one. And this is you just kind of go through the world, going along a map, pulling out chits to see if you encounter things. Then the other one is Minion Hunter, which was put out by GDW, Game Design Workshop, in the 90s, maybe the early 90s. I can't remember. And that one is not a fantasy one. That's a, I want to say post-apocalyptic, but not in the way you're probably thinking. Just a dystopian future kind of thing. Anyways, so this is what I got. I got these note cards. The idea here is that you have a deck of cards where on the one side you have a bunch of map locations here. Let's see if I can hold one up. This is a drawing of the raging river. My beautiful artwork. And we'll again post pictures. Here's
the Wosom Valley.
The Wosom Valley. And it's got a bunch of mountains. And we don't have to go through all of them. I like this one. This one's kind of pleasant. In fact, it literally is pleasant. This is the rolling expanse. And it's got some hills.
And it says the word pleasant down in the corner.
Yes. So that's one side. Every card on one side has a location. And the idea is that you're going to take a deck, divide it roughly in half, and you have one half with the map locations side up, and then the other half are the encounters. And you have that side up. So you basically, the encounters and the map locations are the same deck, just reversed, basically. Or they come from the same pool of cards or whatever. On the encounter side, you had like, hey, there's mechanics here. We don't, these aren't necessarily what the mechanics are or whatever. I just left that bit blank because I just have a couple interesting things here. So let me explain fully the map side first, and then we'll so let's go with the Wosom Valley here. So the Wosom Valley in the middle is going to be a bunch of mountains. Honestly, I don't know, like, if this is the kind of thing where I would just do my, like, horrible illustrations, or if I would, like, I have a friend who does some really good cartoony style fantasy illustrations that I think would be kind of good. But I don't know if I'm going with the fantasy setting with this anyways. But anyways, in the upper right-hand corner, there's the word mountains to let you know that even if you can't figure out my drawing, these are mountains.
This is mountain terrain.
Yeah, that's the upper right-hand corner is the terrain. The lower left-hand corner is the mood or vibe or adjective. This one says spooky. Upper left-hand corner is I just have like move times 1/2 because it's slow going through these mountains. That's the thing. And then the lower left-hand corner, I have like a little rule that says 1 in 8 of lost encounter. You might encounter something. I'll explain that in a minute, actually. The idea is that you would have like this mountain one. Somebody would draw it and put it down, and then someone puts down the next one, and you assemble these brick-like triangle. This is where I have to like kind of staggered, So this is essentially a hex map. It's just they're not made out of hexes, but it has the same facings, right? And you'll have your characters, your little pawns for your characters move through them like a hex map. On the other side, then, we have the deck of encounters. Find a good... Haha! What a funny joke I've played on myself here. All right. Have I done this with all of them? No, here we go. But here you would have the deck of encounters, which is the other side, and on each encounter card, along part of it is you see this one says inhabited. This is like the type of terrain that you would make that encounter on, right? So the top card on the encounter deck, because it'll be showing with the encounters face up, you get to encounter that card. In this case, it is 1 to 20 urchins. If you land on a inhabited terrain before this card gets discarded, right? The inhabited terrain, like I have an example here that's just like a village. Yeah, it's just a drawing of a village.
Yep.
Would you have the cards on the encounter deck? You actually slide them up so you can see what the next encounter one is below it. This one says road. So you know what the urchins are. And you're like, I need to encounter some urchins because I really need to like unload some copper pieces or something. Like you have some reason that you want to, or maybe you're like, I have a quest to return this to the urchins. So let's get ourselves to an inhabited place where before this card disappears. Underneath it, all you know is that there's an encounter on the road. So if you go on the road, you'll encounter that. The road encounter is, in this case, 1 to 8 bandits. But that's, you don't know what that'll be. There'll be several different road encounters, but it follows that pattern of like, once you play the game a few times, you're going to start to understand, oh, there's a road encounter that could be bandits, so we should be careful. The idea is that you have a draw deck that shows one card that you know what it is, and then another card that you don't know what it is, but you know what the encounter is. And then the discard deck for these is the exact same thing, but in reverse. So you end up with like one. So basically, these urchins, like if they're on top, you don't encounter them. You put them onto the discard deck. You still know they're there. You could still encounter them if you get to it. And then something else goes on top of them on the discard deck. It hides what the urchins are, but you could probably still remember that they're there, and you could still encounter them. But then once you get like a third thing on there, they're gone. So that's your like method of like determining where all the encounters are and what you might encounter. The thing that just occurred to me is that I have this this band that tells you how or where you encounter these things. I have it on the bottom of the card. I should have it on the top and the bottom, because you never know which way you're going to shuffle them in. And specifically, I can make those different.
Right.
So for instance,
your bandits could be on the road or in an inhabited like that.
Yes. Or while those encounter things can be terrain based, they can also be like I have this one here, 2 to 5 Draculae, and they're spooky. You need to find like you only encounter them where they're spooky. So but I also have one that's like, oh, here I have it, 7 Samurai, where you only encounter them after you've encountered the bandits.
Oh, okay.
So I can put on the bandits, you encounter them on the road, but the other side might be win wealthy.
Okay, sure. So locations so there's a location based, and then there's also some like a game state. Like
yeah. Like I have one here, it's like an otherworldly presence that shows up when you're hurt. Like, and that might be just a good thing. And yeah, so like I had like a list of things that are like the location, the mood or vibe of the location, a previous encounter type, because I like the idea of chaining encounters, and then the condition that the heroes are in, all being like things that might trigger an encounter. And then finally, like for instance, this Woesome Valley, the fact that it has this 1 in 8 of lost encounter, you just roll an 8-sided die. If you roll a 1, then you draw the top card of the map deck and flip it over, and you just encounter what that is.
Okay, sure.
So it's like it doesn't matter. People get lost in the Woesome Valley all the time.
There's something I thought of with like keeping them tiled so that you see the next ones. If there's some indication of like a benefit or like a goal or a reward or something that goes with the...
Oh, just kind of hint at it?
Yeah, so like to give you some reason, like if the one that has the bandits where it just says road, if it said road and then said like, I don't know, roadside tavern or something, like also on the bottom, or like pouch of fallen coins or like something.
Right, yeah.
So you're like, okay, well, I want to get to the road. Like, so there's an element of like not necessarily strategizing, but being like, okay, let's deal with the urchins now so we can get to the road, because I want to get whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's a reason to have like I don't remember I was also looking something up to try and show you. So if you said this, I apologize. But if there's like multiple ones, if you can see like 2, 3, or 4 deep, and potentially try to map out like, here's our quest or something.
Basically, the setup would be, let me grab all of them together here, is that you would have the deck, which would, basically look like this, which will give you the like win hurt, and that's the otherworldly presence, and then the inhabited, which you don't know what it is, but if you've played, you're like, it's a chance it might be urchins or a merchant or something. And then there's a discard deck that these go into if you don't encounter them.
Okay. And
that can also be too deep, and so you could be like, we got to hurry up and encounter the bandits if we want to encounter those 7 samurai, right? Like, and then, oh shoot, we dropped it. We can't go through the mountains yet. The Draculae. I remember that those are the Draculae, which is, by the way, the plural of Dracula.
Right.
If anyone was wondering. So yeah. So you can have up to like 4 deep with 2 of them hidden, but you generally know what 3 of the 4 of them are. But I like that idea because like what I wanted to do with the mechanics is actually have this encounter have 3 or 4 different versions of it, and you do those in order, crossing them out as you go along. The idea here is not a game of cards that I sell, but a PDF that you print out and cut up and use as cards that you can write on and change and alter as the game goes on. So like maybe the first time you encounter the bandits, they don't give you anything, but then you see, because you're looking at it, that the 4th bandit encounter means that they're carrying just a ton of gold. So you're like, okay, we got to find bandits again. You know, that could come in your next playthrough or whatever. It has like kind of a legacy thing going with it.
Yeah. Once you start striking them out, then like the next time you play, it's going to default to like the most, the top open one, basically.
Yeah. And so you just kind of keep going. So a greater idea I have for this game, again, I don't have the setting yet, but the greater idea is that you have a sheet of encounters, you have a sheet of map things, but there's no, you would print them out front and back, but there's no like nothing that tells you that you have to print them out with this map backed to this encounter, right?
Sure,
like,
sure.
So, and in fact, I mean, I could generate these PDFs randomly,
right?
I mean, not the content of the PDFs, but like the order, so that no 2 sets are identical. Because like when I drew these up just by accident, I put the Draculae, which appear on Spooky, on the back of the Woesome Valley, which is my Spooky card. Right. So there needs to be enough terrain and things so that if that happens, it doesn't rule out that encounter ever happening. It just makes it slightly rarer, but rarer. Anyways, but yeah, my grand idea for this. So there's this. I'm going to call it a problem in game design, in a particular style of game design, which is the exceptions that prove the rule. I'm going to use D&D as a classic example. I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going to go. Well, not all the way back, but pretty far back. And I'm going to say, hey, here's the thief, right? There's a class called the thief in D&D, you may remember. And this thief gets to do double damage if they backstab someone. Look at that. Isn't that great? And then it's like, well, does that mean that my fighter or even my wizard with a dagger isn't able to sneak up behind someone and just plunge it into their ribcage?
If they do the same thing as the thief, they don't get the backstab because that's a thief ability. Even though, like fictionally or whatever, it's like my wizard can stab a guy in the back, but that's not a capital B backstab because that's So the thief having backstab then implies no one else is able to get the double damage for stabbing someone in the back.
Yes, exactly. And there's ways to go this route where people are like, well, obviously, like for instance, Fireball. Like wizards can at a certain level can cast Fireball, which indicates that wizards at a lower level can't, which indicates that fighters can't. But I've played Street Fighter. I don't know if you have. Fighters throw fireballs all the time. Like it's a thing. It's it's ridiculous to say a fighter can't throw a fireball. Or more specifically, like a game that's like gives you a feat or a power that says you don't take a penalty for using improvised weapons. And then it's like suddenly everyone's like, wait, were we supposed to be taking a penalty when we're using improvised weapons?
Technically a rule that says improvised weapons have this penalty. We're ignoring it all this time until someone took the feat that makes them special. But that's the same thing we've been doing, which means everyone else has to take a penalty.
Yes. It's suddenly a class, a player choice becomes a burden on everyone else because there's a whole new set of rules that make everyone a little less, And so what I want to do with this board game is to design it the opposite direction, where basically it's like, hey, here's a character class that you get to choose from. And if you choose it, suddenly everyone else gets this bonus, and then you get this better bonus, right? So I'm trying to think of like a good example, but let's take that thief backstab one, right? Like instead of a thief, let's make it an assassin. You take the assassin, and now it says everyone who makes a stealth roll, which is a 3 or less on a 6-sided die, can do double damage. And then but you get to do triple damage unless you roll a 6, and then or something like that.
Or like you succeed on stealth rolls on a 5 or less instead of a 3 or less.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so you come with a rule that everyone gets to use, but you get a better version of that rule. And the idea, I think, for how this game goes, this is like the meta level idea, is that I come up with a base thing for the game, put it out on itch or something like that, and then just say, hey, if you want the assassin, I have to sell this many games before we put the assassin in. And then after this many games, and everyone who's already bought it, like, I could just update the PDF and that's it. Like, everyone gets it. So, like, as long as the game keeps going, we keep adding more fun rules for different characters that people can choose from, but only if you choose the characters.
That could also bring with it a certain like encounter, right? Like a certain encounter type or a certain piece of terrain.
Yes.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like,
more maps, more encounter cards. Yeah.
So obviously the like Assassin's Guild is like now on the map or whatever.
Now, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can add new encounters that are like, just like, patrols that are out looking for assassins or things like that. Like just, So it would be,
that's fun.
It'd be kind of fun.
And you can use those character choices or how those mechanics interact to kind of like build this, like kind of imply the setting, right? Like I'm thinking how if you have a wizard and they have magic, and then that gives everyone else the ability to cast a cantrip once a day or whatever, because like you're in a world with magic, people just know magic.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you're in more of a, I don't know, Lankmari kind of thing. You have like a wizard, and you have and you have a rogue or a thief. And now everyone's able to do sneaky things, and everyone's able to cast a little bit of magic. And then you add the holy person, and now everyone's able to like have a little bit of like divine guidance on their side. Yeah,
a little prayer or something. Yeah. Say a little prayer before going into, and then like at some point a cyborg shows up.
Right.
And again, that's the contract between the players. Like, because that stuff doesn't exist unless someone chooses to play it, and then it does. Yeah, I think that would be fun.
You kind of have two versions of it being legacy. You have the version in play where people are crossing stuff out, but it's persistent between play sessions, and then you have a legacy game engine where stuff just comes into it over time, and you're like, oh, now we get cyborgs. And like, if you don't like cyborgs, don't use cyborgs. No one's losing anything. But if you have cyborgs, now everyone gets laser eyes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I would have to like mark these cards with the supplement that they come with, which is fine.
Yeah.
That's easy enough to do. And then I can even say like, hey, if you're not playing with the cyborg, you can take the cyborg cards out, or you could just leave them in because you've already played cyborg. So, like, that's going to be the challenge of the design, is to build the rules so that it's not necessary for a cyborg to be in the game for the cyborg cards to make sense with the rest of the rules. And that's a fun challenge. That's the thing I'd like to do.
Well, I felt like I did some homework.
I think I did some homework too. Yeah, this is exciting.
That's exciting. We have some cards. We have some thoughts. And I think that's a good amount of episode. Do we want to do another round of homework?
Oh yeah, we should probably assign some homework here.
Mm-hmm.
Should we continue on this path? Are you excited about doing more with your game here? Or do you want to move on to like we throw a pet crimes homework in?
Let's throw a pet crimes homework in, because I think I want to digest this for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
let's throw a pet crimes thing in. I think we want to capitalize on the have lots of projects, have lots of things, to jump between thing, because I think that's good for both. Like, I think we both work that way, right? Where it's like, I'll just jump from this to this.
I got this idea, now I want this idea.
So pet crimes is on the other end of our project spectrum, where like we know what it is, and we have some like specific things like revision and expansion to like do. So let's hit some pet crimes homework. Okay, here's what I think needs to happen for that game. a once over on the actual rules to kind of bring in some stuff we learned from the playtest and do a little explication. Building out the charts, because there's charts for generating your random pets and their crimes. And right now they're they're just D6 charts, and I think they could be more expansive.
Yeah, bigger, yeah.
And a play reference, like a single document that has like the moves on it for the attorneys and a thing for the judge to keep track of things to help play happen. I think those are the three big things that need to happen. Is there one of those you would like to do?
I'd like to expand the charts because, and it's not conditional on this, but I would like to make a little web app for the charts if that's
that'd be great.
Just like a fun that I think we don't have to hide from anyone or anything like that. We just be like, hey, you guys want a pet crime?
Pet crime generator.
Here's a random pet crime. Yeah.
Pet crimes and maybe a list of jurors. And here's like 9 jurors, just to roll through and to assemble your jury. Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, and I will work on a play aid that will involve doing a little revision on the writing, but I'll concentrate on getting a play aid together. That's like a PDF that people can use. I
was just thinking. Well, no, this is the thing. This is for I can't do the homework yet. I'll do the homework and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
I was like, the instinct now, because we're co-workers in this, the instinct is like, oh, I have this idea and I want to run it by you before I implement it. But now I'm like, no, I should implement it and we'll talk about it on the podcast. And then if it needs to change, we'll just change it then. Like, that's the thing. All right. I'm excited about this.
We don't need to come to consensus on this. We'll each do our homework. We'll bring it back together and then we'll move forward with pet crimes in our next episode. Cool. Then that's the plan.
All right.
All right. We had a lot to say about our cards, mainly because they are vague and thus require a lot of kind of like caveating. However, I think this was a good conversation, and I am excited to keep noodling around with this, though it's still, the scale of this particular project is still intimidatingly large.
Enormous. Yeah.
So I'll kind of poke around the edges with it a little more as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here we are at the end of the episode. This podcast is by us. Go us. Our music is by Will Yobst. Thank you, Will. Find Will and all of Will's games at goodluckpress.co. You can find all of our links to all of the things at unwrittenearths.com, including the Discord, where you can come hang out, talk about games or, detective shows or whatever. Those are the main things we talk about. Yep. And also to play some Sunday morning swords.
Yes. Spooky time. Oh, wait. It won't be spooky time by the time
by the time this comes out, it'll be post spooky time. But maybe there'll be like a Thanksgiving themed one. We'll do like a feasts without master.
Here's the thing. I have long held that since there is a proud tradition of ghost stories all the way through the winter, that spooky times last well into the spring.
Yeah. Nobody's your boss on this. It's without master. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Our aforementioned Patreon is at patreon.com/unwrittenearths. You can become a paid patron for as little as $3 a month to get the other podcast, plus expenses, and also, once it comes together, pet crimes.
Yeah, pet crimes.
And all the other things. Follow us on Blue Sky. Find our links to buy our games at the website. Those are coming together. We're getting more outlets for games, including probably the ability to buy the annual in print by the time this drops. So check out the website for that. Those are all the things that I can remember at this time. Eppy, have we designed a game yet?
Man. A game? No.
But the quest continues.